I'm a Moorish American.
I'm a Moorish American.
Peace.
Yeah. Hey, 5 on the right, 2 on the left, man. You know what time it is. Yo. We just Moors in America, soared through the shores and endured criminal acts of war on our character. 7 years after the 4th score, no reward. Shout out to the most courageous, they was jumping over barriers. Where does that compare to you? We come from a place where you scared to visit our area. We come from a place where it's scary for good Samaritans. Heavy luggage we carrying, babies having babies. It's crazy being American. Praise the one and only Allah, there's no comparison. La ilaha illa Allah, body and buried in. Laughing at you clowns like ha-ha, dodging the Nephilim. Conquer lower self with a high, follow your regimen. Way before they came we were gods and now we specimen. Tried to take the light from our eyes, thank God for Edison. Then they put the wool on our eyes, it's so embarrassing. Now we travel frequently, we should invest in Sheraton. All of us got gold on our bodies whenever we stepping in. Screaming Ramadan, Mubarak, training the flesh again. Wishing we could move as a unit just like the Mexicans. Dodging all the foods with estrogen, synthetic medicines. All sin isn't devilish. Sometimes the decisions that you make come for a better gift. Sometimes when you sin is to relate to all your brethren. Heavenly gates all in our face, we the champions. We live in the sky, we see the angels on the chariots. Waiting on the $20 bill, face a Harriet. I bet you I'ma carry it. I'm in love with music to the point I wanna marry it. But my love for people is greater, so I write messages. Largest spending power, but we still sit at a deficit. Living amongst prejudice, even at our residence. Moors in America, flourishing, excellent. Let's buy up some neighborhoods and groom our own president. Yeah. And I come to you today with all intentions of spreading love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Islam Moorish, Islam, peace and love, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, please, somebody type a 1. Type a 1 in the chat for me. Greetings, peace and love. Salam alaikum. Ashe. Hotep. What's up? Oh, good. So here we go. This video represents the views of the presenters and our guests based off our own personal research and life experience. So this isn't coming at you, as an official representation of any organization. This is just us speaking our mind and presenting facts and doing what we do. All right. We're doing great on this holy day. A lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. There's some people wilding out today, but it's all good. First and foremost, we always rise and give the highest praise to the Most High, Father God Allah. We give honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. We also extend the honors to everybody and everything Moorish. We extend the honors to all those holding it down, the light bringers. The light bringers. Okay, you know who you are. So we're doing great. Hopefully you're doing great as well. All right, if you've recovered a lot of Moorish literature, share it with us. Bring it to us. Get at me on the side if you want to speak on this platform. Bay at mooresinamerica.com. That's BEY at mooresinamerica.com. And what is this about? What is this about? Today, we're going to be paying honors to the brother that just made the transition, brother D. Bailey L. Going to give honors to him, and also going to play the interview with the brother just in case you missed it. So as always, you're listening to the True and Living Lightbringer. It's Moors in America. We're always uncovering and bringing glorious light to all issues pertinent to the Moorish American paradigm. That's what we do here on Moors in America. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe. If you're not on YouTube, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Everybody watching, make sure you like this video and click share. If you're watching in fear, because maybe you think that something is going to be, if you think the truth is going to be told and revealed and you think that it's going to put you in a bad light, don't worry. It's Holy Day. There's nothing to fear. Have no fear, Moors. Because if you follow your prophet, you follow your prophet to a destiny that is neither uncertain nor unknown. So have no fear, Moors. Don't be scared. We're not scared over here. All right, so Shalom, Hotep, happy Holy Day, Islam, peace and love to all the Moors out here, whether you consider yourself a Moor or not. All right, if you're about building in positivity, love, light, prosperity, we with you. We're on the same wavelength. And I think this will be a great chance for everyone to learn. And no fear. Just no fear. Don't be scared. That's all I have to say. Don't be scared. Don't worry that your skeletons and things will be revealed, and because all that stuff's going to come out anyway, right? You don't need one person to do it. It will all be revealed. That's the time that we're living in. That's why we see so much stuff going on, right? You see the brother in the news for allegedly molesting. The brother in the news for allegedly, molesting a little girl, right? And that brother, had tons of people giving him money and buying stuff from him. Now starting to look at him sideways, right? So all that stuff eventually gets exposed. Everything done in the dark will come to the light. Caveat emptor. It's not going to work. Even if you think that you can distort the movement, which is actually divine, which is actually pure, that the prophet created, the Moorish divine national movement. Even if you think you can distort it for whatever purposes, whether you're trying to enrich yourself, trying to fleece the people, whatever you're trying to do, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And it doesn't matter how many people you have with you. It doesn't matter if you're working for someone else. It doesn't matter. It's not going to work. Right? But on this day, as I said before, we're going to pay honors to the brother. And for me and my wife, we pay honors to that brother because when we joined the temple, we had already, unofficially been in the movement for a long time. We knew we were Moors. We learned, we tried to spread the word, weren't necessarily out there teaching, but was, sharing the message with people that we touched personally, that we knew for years, probably since like 2005 or something like that, right? But when we came into the temple, there was no support. Like literally, nobody was trying to teach us or show us anything, and there was like a handful of Moors, good Moors that, that were like sharing the literature and everything with the prophet. And one of them was this brother, D. Bailey F. All right. And, I know like personally, if we weren't attending the Holy Day services and Sunday schools with Temple One in Chicago, Mecca, shout out to the brother Great Bay. If it weren't for those good Moors there, we wouldn't have been able to formulate our temple here where we're located at. And so I'll pay honors. I give honors to the good Moors out there. The good Moors. We honor the good Moors. And, that's how it is. We also honor the ancestors. And one of the things that, matter of fact, I'm going to read caveat emptor before we play this video, because I know a lot of us have never even heard the literature. We don't even know what's going on, right? And so it's sad that there's people who's coming into this movement hungry, wanting to know what to do, and you have people who are out here, culprits, smelly culprits, who are out here for personal gain, who are out here for reasons that are not noble, right? And they're here to lead people astray and to ultimately just to stagnate the movement, right? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So nothing that the plotters do is going to work. Nothing that the traitors, the culprits do is going to work. And they don't get honors. And that's the other thing. If nobody honors them, if nobody recognizes them, regardless of what they're doing, they have no power. Try as they might, they try in vain. So I want to share this with you, though, and what I'm sharing is caveat emptor. This was originally published in a Moorish guide. Forgive me, I don't know what year it was put out, but I think it's a powerful message that still rings true today. I mean, it's wild, you know. Some Moors have zero respect at all. You know, on a holy day, we have Moors acting crazy. You know, the brother just made the transition, and we have Moors who don't even give the brother a week, you know, of making the transition to rest before they start acting crazy. So it's wild. But I do want to read and share this caveat emptor with you. And for those who've never seen this or read this, feel free to read along. Islam to the Moor. Oh, yeah, Majestic Ra. Definitely. Yeah, we've been on it for a minute. I mean, we used to have a YouTube, the 144,000, but that was just the tip of the iceberg, you know. We, you know, just sharing as much as we could with people and, you know, for the most part, doing our work off of the internet, you know, to strengthen ourselves and to see what we could do, you know, to uplift. But I want to read this, and that's the thing. You got some people who just like coming out of the blue, out of nowhere, you know, and it's like, who are you? Trying to position yourself as leadership and all this stuff. We're going to read caveat emptor. And, you know, it's funny because, you know, this is more than likely, you know, close to 100 years old, and it still rings true today. Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless who care for their loved ones and follow the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is therefore folly at its greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such realm. So it's letting you know, like, it ultimately doesn't matter what they're trying to do. It's folly at its greatest height. It's not going to work. It's an impregnable doctrine that's fortified this. You can't penetrate it. You can't take it down. You can't do what you think you're going to do. It isn't going to work. Right? So it's folly at its greatest height. But, you know, try as they might, right? They try and try, but their own bad planning brings down wrath upon their heads like the sword old Damocles had, right? And who wants to be in that position anyway, where you have this sword swinging over your head that's being held up by, you know, like a single thread, a single hair, or, you know, a thin thread, right? Who wants to be in that position? So always keep an eye out for people who are angling for these positions that they think are powerful positions, right? Especially the ones who act as if they didn't ever want to be in that position before. You can't trust them. They wanted it, right? But try and try. They try and try, but their own bad planning brings down wrath upon their heads like the sword old Damocles had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunnings find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. So it's not going to work, right? You might think you're slick, but people know. This is so because the Moorish movement has been well planned by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment, right? So there's a spiritual aspect to this that people who don't have this spirituality can't tap into, right? You know, and you can tell who's not spiritual. You know, the people that disrespectful, ultimately, like in so many ways, you can tell. It's obvious they don't have it. The prophet is not with them. So try as they might, it isn't going to work. So you don't have to worry about it, but they're not fooling anymore. Some of them get angry when they're getting busted out, when it's known or when it's made apparent to them that they're not fooling people. But in all reality, they're not fooling anyone, right? And so they're all over the place. But the majority of us are sincere. So the few who are planning and plotting, they'll never succeed. So the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They are the vanguard of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America, right? The true Moorish American Muslims are the vanguard of the movement. So it doesn't matter what paperwork you think you have, what filings you think you have, right, that you think is going to increase your prominence within the movement. It's not going to work. You're not the vanguard of the movement. These people don't own the movement. They don't. All of the Moors are active, not passive. A member's interest can only be in one direction. And having traveled over the road for years before, the Prophet knows where every member is along the road. A few feet below is another road where schemers work, where traitors grin, and culprits bask in the sun. They think they're on the same road with the true Moors, but they're not, right? But the Moors are high above on a pinnacle where they might view the destructionists as they fall for the last time and their bones bleach in the sultry midday sun. And we know that people who are on this path of darkness, they don't see the light. They think they're on the same true road. So they're not going to take heed to any of this stuff. They're pretending that they're the true Moors, right? They don't even realize they're on the path to destruction. Hungry scavengers flying high, catch scent, devour, and leave crying out, caveat emptor, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see these plotters, purveyors, the worst that exists, hurl themselves downward by their own works as the hawks wait. And so people like this, try as they might, they won't succeed. If they're trying to do something that they think is spirituality, it's more than likely for unscrupulous means, like say they're trying to use magic or voodoo or something to harm someone else. They're trying to tap into something that's going over their head, and it's only going to backfire on them. It always does. It will hurt them more than it will hurt the true and living. And it's always like that. The schemes that they do, they won't work. They never do, right? And so ultimately though, we do want to pay honors to the elder. And like I said, I'm not going to keep the Moors who are watching. There's some Moors, there's some plotters, there's some schemers who watch these videos scared, like literally, because they have so many skeletons in their closet. They're doing so many shameful things that they're scared that it's going to be exposed. So they watch like every video, right? And it's crazy, Moors, but it's really like that. They're living in a house of cards where all you have to do is flick a pebble at them and they'll be exposed. It'll come crashing down, right? And then it's crazy for people who live like that to be out here doing people wrong because it's so easy to take them down. But enough about the scavengers. Enough about the scavengers. On this holy day, we will be playing a video for you all. This is an interview with the elder D. Bailey L. Once again, want to share this because the brother shared wisdom and insight with us on the movement, words and history that came from people who actually knew the prophet. Right. So this is like oral history and tradition that we couldn't have gotten any other way than talking to the elders. And, and it's powerful. So, it gave us a great idea of what the movement was actually supposed to be about so that others can't come and twist it for you. And then putting that with the actual literature that the prophet put out, it's plain as day how this movement is supposed to go and how it's not supposed to go. And so we do want to share that, because we did not get any support from those culprits, who are there to stagnate the movement. They did not assist at all. All right. But on that note, though, let's go ahead and get to that video. You know what though, real quick,
Islam.
let's hit that pause button real quick. So before we play this video, if anybody has anything they'd like to share, or if you would like to join in on this broadcast, I'm gonna go ahead and share the stream link so you can join us. All right, I'm gonna put that in the chat for YouTube and Facebook. So yeah, if you want to jump on this stream, feel free to click that link. You can come in here, and we can build. We're gonna go ahead and open this up to the family. Open this up to all the Moors. All right, so everybody out there, though, before we do that, though, make sure you click like and share. And like I said, if you want to join us on the stream, if you have any questions, you want to come on here, you have anything you want to build on, anything you want to bring to the people, anything you think the people need to hear, whatever it may be, feel free to click that link, and that'll bring you into the stream. Okay, so I don't know, you might be able to do it from a phone. I can't say for sure, but definitely click that link if you want to join the stream. And we're going to go ahead and play this video. We appreciate the brother, and I'm sure you guys will appreciate this knowledge. So everybody click like and share, and we're going to go ahead and start. Before we get started, though, I do want to share one message from our sponsors. For all the business owners out there, for anybody, for any organizations, anything that needs traffic, clients, go to realtrafficmarketing.com. It's a full service marketing agency. We can take care of all your marketing needs, right? So go right there to realtrafficmarketing.com. All right, here we go. Peace and love. What's up? We coming to you live from Chicago, Chi-Town, Chirac, don't call it that, Mecca. All right, and we have a very important video for you. I just want to make sure everybody understands how special this is. You're gonna hear someone who's like walking, breathing, living history. Okay, you're gonna hear from the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple. Okay, we say that again: the one and only, the Supreme Grand Sheik from the Moorish Science Temple. Okay, if you haven't heard of him or don't understand why this is so important, you need to Google him. Okay, that's on you. Seriously, Google Supreme Grand Sheik D. Bailey L. D. Bailey L. I'll put the words up there, okay? You need to Google them. You need to understand what's going on. This is very important, and it's even where we're at right now. Chi-Town is Mecca. Seriously. The brother on another video on this channel, check it out, Assistant Grand Sheik, young phenom, Mayel, okay? He was telling you that this is Mecca, okay? And we can attest to this. You have two witnesses that can bear witness to that. This is Mecca. This is truly Mecca. It's not
just something just to throw around and just to say. There's a reason why the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan is here, Minister Farrakhan. There's a reason why the Moorish Science Temple is here. It's real. And when you make a Hajj to Mecca, you do it to strengthen your faith, right? That's one of the reasons why. When you go there, you may be around disbelievers, but when you make the Hajj to Mecca, you're around other Muslims. We are Muslims. We make the Hajj to Mecca here in Chicago, and we can attest all types of people wearing their suit and tie, work uniforms, whatever. They see us,
bus driver saw us.
They say Islam because they recognize, they respect. They're Muslims too. Okay, they're Moors and they know it. There's respect for it. There's respect for the Moors here. The bus driver driving by, he made sure he made eye contact and said Islam. We see it. Okay, so it's not fake. It's not fantasy. It doesn't matter. You can't hear about it. You have to come here. You have to see it. You have to make Hajj for yourself. If you are a Moor, you have to come. You have to check out convention at least once for yourself.
Every year
just
is
to see,
here.
just to know.
September
it's real.
15th
and
through the 20th.
You have to listen to the Supreme Grand Sheik right now, because we're talking about someone with direct lineage to the Prophet, who's alive right now. Unbroken line from the Prophet to the first Supreme Grand Sheik, who's actually his grandfather. Okay, so that's why I'm saying this is an amazing, incredible video, and we're blessed that he took the time to teach us and to share actual real history with us.
Yes.
If you know anything about
Praise
your
Allah.
nationality, or even if you're just learning about it, you have to check this out and share this. This is coming straight, I don't want to say from the horse's mouth, straight from the Prophet's mouth.
Islam.
Okay, this is real. Okay, so just wanted to let you know what's going on. And yes, we're here in Mecca, otherwise known as Chi-Town, and it's beautiful and it's real. And yes, the Moors are here, and yes, you have to come here. So especially to people who are thinking or talking recklessly.
It is the Windy City indeed.
It is definitely the Windy City. So you can't talk recklessly about Moors or anything like that. You've never even been here. And if you're a genuine, real person, you have to show respect. This is a true elder who's been fighting for us and doing this for years. So listen and learn and enjoy. And remember, you have to come out here for yourself. You have to make the pilgrimage to Mecca. And I'll just say, Islam. Peace to everybody out there.
Love, peace, and blessings.
Okay. All right, peace, bro. Did you have any questions before we start this interview?
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's how it sound. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question about nationality. You know, proclaiming the nationality. It's a question, and also I just wanted you all to clarify for Moors that might be babies in the knowledge, to, you know what I'm saying, just a clarification for them also about nationality, like coming into the knowledge and proclaiming your nationality and declaration, you know what I'm saying, all of that, declaring your nationality and all of that stuff.
All right. Okay, so
because for me, I was asking brothers, and brothers was really kind of like withholding the knowledge. But at the same time, I finally came in contact with a brother that actually gave me the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? What I needed to do. What I needed, you know, first proclaim it in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Get knowledge of the Prophet, who the Prophet is, 101s, Circle 7 Quran, all that type of stuff. And you know what I'm saying? And plus, at the same time, I was also like in a mix between two different ideologies. You know what I'm saying? I seen a video on your YouTube about the brother, I think it's Nakeem. The brother Nakeem was breaking down CM Bay, and he was also giving the knowledge of Noble Drew, doing the knowledge of Noble Drew Ali too, as both of them building on top of each other. So, some more say, don't deal with that stuff. We only in the temple, this, that, and the third. But you made it open to the world for that brother to come in and drop some knowledge about that and how it relates to Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Science Temple of America, and all of that stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Islam. So, man, I'm glad you dropped that. I just put that up on the screen. Like, everybody out there needs to get a copy of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's basically like a booklet, with like 60-something pages.
Right.
Get that Holy Quran and get the Divine Constitution, like the brother said. Also get the Quran questionnaire. That's also called the 101s. And then get Moorish literature. The reason why you want to get these things is because for the most part, Moorish literature may have some other documents in there that weren't written by the Prophet. But for the most part, this is the literature that the Prophet put out regarding us. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America is a legal document. It gives us our hidden heritage, like our connection to Africa, the Americas, how actually all of this is Africa in reality. But, that may be too much to get into. But just saying that it gives us our true hidden history. Something that was almost removed from the planet. So that reconnects us in to who we truly are. And then it also gives us the steps to subdue our lower self to bring out Allah within us, right? Which is ultimately what makes us unstoppable, right? We're the creators of civilization. So this is being returned to us. And the Divine Constitution and also the Quran questionnaire, because these are laws. The Quran questionnaire also should have additional laws in there in the back. But these are our laws, right? And so is the Quran. And then in the Moorish literature, also, there's some proclamations and things in there that the Prophet published in the old newspaper that they had, the Moorish Guide. And these were laws for us, right? And so we have to know this stuff because the Prophet created for the Moors that don't know, the Prophet created a nation, literally. He tied us back into our ancient way of living. When you go back to ancient Egypt, you'll see that they had a constitutional monarchy, right? Or they had a theocratic government. All right. And so the Prophet relinked us back in with that. We have a theocratic constitutional monarchy. We have that same type structure, but it's new for us to relink back to what our ancestors were, because we descend from the creators of civilization. But in our present state, right, like they got us wearing clothes that say savage and singing songs that say savage and actually acting like savages. So we're disconnected from that, but we're still powerful. So we're actually leading the world astray now because we got people all over the world trying to be like us in our lower state. So the Prophet is returning us back to our higher state because we are going to lead the world again, not knocking anyone else or any other cultures or saying anyone's underneath us, just saying that that's in our nature. Right. And so he's returning us back to our nature. So, not knocking anyone who's outside the temple or anything like that. Even people who don't consider themselves Moors, just saying that it's good to study and to actually really know what this is. Because it's not like it's just like some dogmatic thing people trying to force on you. This is actually trying to bring out the greatness in you and get us to do this as a collective and then build our societies off of those principles so that, you can have a temple in your city that you can just form with the Moors around you. You don't even necessarily have to be linked up with any of these other folks out here because a lot of them are led astray. They're like trying to rest off of some lineage. They claiming that they connected to the Prophet, that they're the official temple. They're all lying. Right? You can get with the Moors in your city. You can't just do this internet mess. You got to get with some real people. You got to get with your family first. If you got, children, you need to get, that should be like, for me, I don't mean to get all off, but this is important. For you, the most important thing should be to get to your own seeds. If somebody's coming to me and they're saying they're serious and they're sincere and they don't even think it's important to teach their own seeds, I'm not going to take them seriously. Because I have 5 children and it's not easy raising children. So to have 5, you still got to get this to them. So it's like, you can't get it to 1 or 2. I don't take you seriously. I'm not knocking nobody though, but I'm saying like you should want to get to your own household first. Forget getting out here and get in the world. And so you build off of that. And with those Moors in your city, you build a temple and you build around it. You start getting properties and businesses and the temple is surrounded by the commerce and the houses and the land and the things that you need. Eventually you start growing your own food and the things that we need, just like everyone else, and you take care of the politics too, because we are still in this world. Like, you can't ignore the mayor and the city council and all that. So we participating at that level too, to make sure that we good, and then we can build from there. But we have to build that construct. So it's real important for Moors to at least get that literature. And I would say also, I would advise to actually listen in, with some other Moors that are, already in that structure as a temple, maybe on their holy days, and ask questions, because they may be able to share insight, and it may help take your learning to another level. If you don't feel like they with the prophet, or there's no soul in there, right? They're not doing right, then fine, forget it. But I would say give it a try, because it can't hurt to build with other Moors who've been doing it for a while. But that's what I would advise to do, and then to build your own temple where you're at for everyone, and to go from there and to be on the economics, because the prophet stressed that, and I hear a lot of people glossing over that. They don't even go to that. I've been sharing this a lot, but this is in Moorish literature. It's called From the Prophet. And the prophet said, "We shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. A beggar people cannot develop the highest in them." Talking about the higher self. It's hard to even develop the higher self if we broke, nor can they attain to a genuine enjoyment of the spiritualities of life. All right. And then also in there, this is the last thing I'm going to read in that same From the Prophet. In connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. The preaching of economic security by us is by no means as widespread and intensive as the circumstances demand. So this is supposed to be of the utmost importance, right? We're not skipping over the spirituality, but it's a part of it. No other thing is more needed among us at this time than greater economic power. And that's from our prophet, right? He let us know it's hard to even attain to bring that higher self out if we struggling to make ends meet. We supposed to have that stuff on lock. We supposed to know where our water is coming from. They putting stuff in our water, and we slaves because we can't do nothing about it. We don't have water treatment plants. We don't know if it's coming from underground, from a lake. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff's important. And so Moors we have to start taking care of this and looking out for ourselves. And so with the temple, we can do that locally. And then we can also, later on come together to form the actual national government that the prophet set up for us. At this point in time, it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. Like, for people trying to claim to be the Grand Sheik of it all, Supreme Grand Sheik, National Grand Sheik, whatever they want to claim themselves to be, it's like putting the cart before the horse, because it's like, bro, there's no finance, there's no land, there's no farms. We're not self-sufficient. Like, we need to get that done at the local level, and then we put these people, that are going to serve these positions, they come from amongst our ranks, right? And that's how we can get things done at a greater level too, nationally. But like, that's really what it's about. I hope that answered your question, though.
Islam, brother. And if you could expand more about, the kids, the children, that's our main. That should be one of our main concerns, because we don't have our own schools either. You know what I'm saying? We need our own schools so we can instill into the children, what it is and where we come from. The beginning of where we come from. They need to know that knowledge, that history, because that's what give them power. That's what make them strong. That's what make them intelligent. That's what make them spiritually inclined. All of that stuff. All of that. We need to get back to making our own medicines. The prophet was industrious in all sense of the manner. He was healing people and all types of stuff. I try to do that now. Try to find herbs and stuff and be knowledgeable about herbs and different natural things, because our ancestors back in slave days, they knew what they could just go right in the bush and just go pick something off of a tree and know what to use it for. Yep.
Islam. So you right in is that with that, like, education for the most part starts at home. That's what the sister just said here. She hearing what you're saying. So it starts at home. As far as the temple's concerned, it starts at home, and then it's Sunday school, and then we need to have our own physical schools, literally, where, we teaching the mathematics and also the true history. And in actuality, we need to take it a step further than that We need to have our own towns, whether it's in the middle of the city or on the outskirts. And we need to have control of our own board of education. And it's not really hard to do that if we actually get in neighborhoods and incorporating them. You know, getting in neighborhoods is big enough to be a town, incorporating it, putting your people in positions in the city council and then on the school board, and now you are in control of what's being taught in the schools. And that's like, you know, we got to be on that, because, you know, some of us, we don't even go to those meetings at all, but we complain. And it's like, so we have to at least be willing to do it for ourselves, you know, in our communities, you know, to actually build that construct. And so, like, you know, that's something that we have to work towards, and it's doable. It doesn't, like, if we really are on it, these are things that we could be getting done in like 5 years, 7 years, probably quicker than that if we come and bring in some real finances. But if we starting from square one, we could be getting that stuff done in 5, 7 years, you know, because that's why you don't want to be by yourself. We got to be working with other Moors that are like-minded, that get it, you know. And so, you know, that's why this is a beautiful thing. I think the sister has something to say too.
Islam, I just want to add that it's about being active. It doesn't matter if it's 2 Moors in your whole city. Everybody should know that those Moors, who they are, what they represent, because we're supposed to be the light no matter where we are. Even if it's just one of us, we're not supposed to be like everybody else. We're supposed to be able to be ourselves and be respected and honored for who we are, because that's what the prophet brought for us to have a Rotarian complexion. Islam.
Yeah. Islam. So like that means, like, even across the nation, there's some things that we all are on. Like we all take care of our families. You know, we might not all dress the same. You know, you might be out in Nevada or somewhere where it's hot, you know, so your culture is a little different. But some of our things, like our law, like across the board, you know, how we conduct ourselves. The Moorish community shouldn't have, like, you know, single parent homes and stuff like that. We working to, you know, to correct this, or at least, like, if like, you know, we coming out of single parent homes, we're working to make it so that our children don't repeat the same things that we're doing, so that we can end those cycles. And so, like, it's real important, you know, that we have this this culture, this divine creed. Like I see the sister said, it's no religion, it's who we are. Like at one point that, you know, that I agree. Like if you actually open up the Quran, you see the first thing it says in there is know thyself, right? So the prophet is actually returning us to something that's ancient. That's actually like an Egyptian proverb, know thyself. And that's what it's teaching us, that God is within us. But it's one thing to just tell people, oh, God's in you, and they out here getting high and getting locked up. Right. But it's another thing to actually have steps on how to subdue your carnal nature and actually reveal more of a God in you. And that's what the Quran actually does, you know. And so that's why we have this is our religion. And religion, it actually means to bind back or to tie back into. And the prophet's tying us back into the ways of our ancestors. Right. So this ain't like, you know, what most people have been exposed to as religion. So it's like something that you can't really leave out. You can't leave out of there. That's why we practice Islam or Islamism, right? And we do it proudly, because we get that. We understand. We're binding back. We're tying back into the ways of our ancestors. And when we say ancestors, we don't mean necessarily us in our fall. We mean us in our greatness, the creators of civilization, right? And so, you know, that means we have to clean ourselves up. And it takes some work and some training to get that out. And, you know, I can't just be like, oh, I'm God, and I'm all in my lower self. So there's actually tools in there, in that Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that help us, each and every one of us on an individual level, to subdue the carnal nature, the body's consciousness that's very real. It's just about, you know, sensations. It's just about, you know, that's leading to destruction for the most part, right? And so, you know, it's a real problem, a real issue, and that's really the only thing that can hold us back. So, you know, it's all about subduing that. And if we're working on that as a collective, man, nothing can stop us. Nothing. Because one of the things that the Europeans were doing, and not knocking the Europeans, just keeping it all the way real, one of the things they were doing when they came here, what were they doing to the indigenous people? they're giving them liquor, right? Trading with them, giving them liquor, something to knock you off of your square. So now you toe up, you cool because you could just get a little liquor in your system, right? You're not you're not 100. You're not really on it mentally. And so that now, boom, oh, now you living in a little square inch of land when before you had it all. All right. And so they're giving the Bible and the liquor bottle. And so, like, that doesn't work if you aren't dwelling in your lower self, right? That can only work if you don't truly know who you are. So this is to get us back on our square 100%. That's also why when we pray on the holy day, we stand on our square for the most part, right? And we give honors. So I don't know, that brothers look like, okay, brothers back. So hopefully that answered the question. But this is why we can't leave this portion out, because it's not good enough to just know you're more. It's not good enough. You have to actually be a more. You have to actually act the part. That's one of the problems too. That's how come there's people who watch y'all don't know behind the scenes. There's people who watch every video we put out because they're the smelly culprits. They're the ones trying to stagnate the movement, and they're scared that I'm going to let it be known who they are. And that's how it is, man. So when these people aren't actually doing the work to subdue their lower self, right? They're set up to fail. Anything that they do, it's ultimately going to fail. And so you can't pretend to be a Moor, but you're still a Negro. You still have that mentality, right? You're still looking out just for serving your lower self, trying to get money, fleece money from the people, whatever insidious plans they have. It's not going to work. It's actually limiting you from realizing your true potential. And so that's important for us all to gain. And on that note, let's go ahead and start this interview up. But yeah, that link is in there if anybody wants to join. And maybe we could have a short discussion, but we're going to go ahead and play this now. Peace and love, Morris.
We are not a 501c3. Never have been, never will be. No, we're still on the right track. If you keep your mind to those papers that are more science as the prophet brought it to us, and don't get a lot of that garbage that people have out there in your head.
Yes, sir.
You have to be careful. And you're in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
I know Moors all over the country. Wow. And I actually know 2 Moors that live in Columbus, Ohio. We need to have a mission in Columbus. You know that?
Working on it.
You're working on it?
Yes, sir.
We need to have a mission there. And some Moors there.
Yes,
And sometimes you do better if you find a Moor that he never heard of Moor science.
Islam.
Yeah. But Finley Bay is good at meditation. I got some papers that he mailed me and sent me on meditation. I have to dig them out, but there's a lot to learn.
Islam.
You got a good family there.
Thank you. Islam.
How long you had your nationality card?
You just got it today.
About 5 minutes.
He just got it. I was raised in the temple by the Moors except with the prophet. And the prophet would never issue anybody a nationality card until they heard a reading from the Koran and the reading of his laws.
Islam.
And we would make sure that we had a meeting, and those people who were going to receive a nationality card, they could have a reading from the Holy Koran, and they could sit there and listen to the reading of the Prophet's laws, and then we would call them forward, and we would issue them their nationality card. We still do it like that, don't we, Kwame? He's not here.
Nope.
Stepped out.
He done stepped out. He been doing a lot of stepping. You know, they got a dance called stepping. We do it here in Chicago. I don't know if y'all heard about that dance. You heard about that dance called stepping?
From Chicago.
Oh, I'm a stepper. I'm good at dancing. Yeah, that was the only thing I would do with the Moors. After they made me a sheik, they told me I couldn't play with the Moors anymore. But they never said I couldn't dance with them. So I would dance with the sisters, you know. And we would be celebrating the Prophet's birthday, and we'd be out on the floor shaking a tail feather and doing the dances and all that stuff. Oh, we had good times, and still do. That's why I tell them more. We can make adapts when they've only been here 8-9 months. Because Brother Muriel had been here only about 7 to 8 months. And the Prophet
6 months.
And the Prophet left him in charge of a home office.
What's wrong, man?
You know, come on.
Was Brother Muriel a Mason?
Yeah, and some people, they want people to be in the temple for 3-4 years before they make them an adept. I think they got them waiting too long. You make them adept when they've been there a year and put them to work. Give them some work to do. You know, some serious work. You know, when we got adapts and sheiks, we give them serious work. They don't do that, you know, messenger work. They do some serious work. You know. And I know Toledo got them doing serious work. We do serious work here in Chicago.
Douglas Hill was originally from Toledo, so he one of them Toledo Moors. He was born in Toledo.
My mother had 10 children, and you know what number I was?
Probably near being the baby.
7.
7.
Number 7. That's close to being a baby.
I was
the
7.
seventh child born in the
Seventh
seventh month.
That's right, Islam.
Islam.
I know what's special about
I
it.
was born in the 7th month. And it was something strange about me when I was born. And my grandmother used to always talk about it and be showing people my head. I'm like 10 years old. And come here, David, come here, David. And she'd be showing people my hair because for some reason I was born with gray hair. I was the 7th child, born in the 7th month, and I was born with gray hair. But I love the Prophet. And I was like 5 or 6, 7 years old, and we would be at the temple, and nothing would do for me but to go get on the podium. And everybody would be saying, you know, he's going to be a Grand Sheik one day. And sure enough, I was. It was like November 1968 when Brother O. Lewis Hill changed form, and everybody turned and looked at me. And I said, oh my God. Oh my God. Because I had to make some changes, you know, improvements, I should say, in my character. I had to make some improvements. And I said, I'll do it. I'll make the improvements, you know. I've been there, did that, and did it long enough, you know. But perfected man must pass through what? All the ways of life.
Supreme Grand Sheik, do
Yeah.
we have time to ask you a few questions?
Yeah, come on over here.
All right.
Get a chair. I hope I got some answers.
All right.
Yes. You got the answer.
Okay, my wife's
Now,
gonna
this
ask
is more Douglas Hill, right?
Douglas Hill.
He got some
Sister
questions.
Douglas Hill here, Brother Douglas Hill.
All right.
You got some questions for me?
Yeah, my wife's gonna ask you a few questions. and
Okay, what's the
we're gonna
question?
record it.
You gonna record it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So what
All
is
right.
the difference between a Muslim and a Muslim?
Okay. The difference between a Muslim and a Muslim is that Muslims are mainly Arab in their connection to their lineage, but Muslims do not have a connection to Arabs. You know, is the main way I see it. We're, here in North America, we're Moorish American Muslims, but you can go over in the East, in places like China and India and Pakistan, and they don't call themselves Muslims. They call themselves what? Muslims. But Muslims are mainly Arabs when you think about it. They're Sunnis and Shias and so forth. Even when you get into places like Iran, they're Muslims. You know, they don't be calling themselves Muslims. Okay? But we're Moorish American Muslims, and we should never change that. And the reason we shouldn't change it, everything that the Prophet gave us is part of a plan. And our first Supreme Grand Sheik, Brother Emil Eel, was speaking in the second convention in, I guess it was September of 1929. And he told the Moors this. He said, the Prophet told me that he had given to us the divine plan of the ages, and nothing can be changed.
Islam.
Can't change the Constitution, can't change the Koran. We got 5 divine principles. We got the divine creed.
Islam.
You know, can't change it. But we have to come into the realization that our divine creed is like a set of fundamental principles that are desired to keep us acting civilized
Islam.
with each other. And it goes even further that our prophet spoke in the Moorish leaders' historical message to America about some more principles that he gave us. Obedience to law, loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. Those are principles for us too, but they're not the divine principles. They're just fundamental principles that are desired for the civilization of our posterity. That's what the prophet said in 1928. What's your next question?
Islam. Let's see. This person said, can I use my free national name and my name that appears on my birth certificate?
Yes. You use them in conjunction. What's your first name?
Lloyd.
Lloyd?
Yeah, L-L-O-Y-D.
Lloyd?
Lloyd.
L-L-O-Y-D?
Yes, sir.
Is that how you spell it?
Yes, sir.
Your name is Lord Douglas Eel. And back in the old day, and we can probably still call it that, like, my name is Bailey Eel, David Bailey Eel. I don't have a middle name. But David is like my given name. That was given to me by my mother and father. Bailey is a slave name. It connects you to slavery. And Eel is a title. Some more still around this country that they be following people like that one in, his name won't come to me right now. They be telling people that Eel and Bay is their free national name. No, it's not. Ilm Bey is a title. You know, one is Lord, the other is governor. You know, and our pre-national name is what? Moorish and Moorish American is our pre-national name. But we got people around the country saying Ilm Bey is their pre-national name, and that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, but Ilm Bey is a title, and when you join the temple, and when you receive your nationality card, you can choose one or the other. Am I right?
Islam.
He had a choice to be an ill or Bey, and he chose to be what? Ill. That's it. And you're going to be with that for the rest of your life.
Islam.
The rest of your natural life until you change form. If you stay with the prophet, it'll follow you into death and beyond. You're an ill. What's next?
Islam. It says, are we U.S. citizens or USA or American citizens?
Okay. What we always try to go by to have a sure foundation and to be in sync with the prophet is when it comes to that aspect, you have to look at your nationality card. On your nationality card, in the lower right left-hand corner, the prophet put something, didn't he?
Sure did.
What did he put?
He said we are citizens of the USA.
Says, I am a citizen of the USA.
Islam.
And that's what we are. We're what the prophet said. We're citizens of the USA. You can say U period, S period, A period. I don't care how you say it, but we're citizens of the USA. That's what's on your nationality card.
Islam.
And that's what we stick with. You know, if the prophet gives me something, I'm not going to walk away from it. Sometimes that comes up, I bring that up when it comes to things like salat. Moors can do salat. As a matter of fact, salat is nothing but another name for prayer.
Islam.
The Moorish American prayer is a form of salat. If salat is nothing but prayer, but when the prophet came, you can be assured he gave us everything that we need.
Islam.
And if you're around long enough, you come into the adab chamber, you're going to learn more.
Islam.
Islam.
You be faithful and you're still around this time next year, and Brother Murray Bay, or one of the other Moors, Blackshear Bay, decide to make you an adab, or a sheik will do it.
Islam.
But they're the ones got to prove it. And I don't go reaching in, telling them what they should do or what they shouldn't do when they come to adabs. I can. Don't think I can. But I'm not going to do it. They may know something about you I don't know, and they don't want to make you a sheik or adab.
Islam.
And they ain't going to tell me what they know, because it's too cold-blooded. You know? But
Islam.
a year from now, you should be in a position where we're going to reveal some things to you.
Islam.
But you got to be patient and obedient, loyal and faithful, and a year from now you can go further.
Yes, sir.
You know,
We're present.
as you seek more knowledge in Islam.
Islam.
Yeah.
May I say something?
Say it.
These questions are from different Moors all over the country that watch our YouTube channel or Instagram, different things like that. We just said that we will be speaking with the Supreme Grand Sheik. And if
Okay.
you have any questions, so these are coming from the people all
Okay,
over
you
the country.
you can probably play this tape too, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your next question? I'm enjoying this. You enjoying it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have I answered your question satisfactory?
Yes, sir.
Islam,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What else you got?
So, how can guests that are visiting the MST of A know that it's the charter and it's legitimate and not any of the other temples claiming to be the MST of A?
By the signature. Okay. We have a document, an affidavit. I gave some out yesterday, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
I gave out a copy of some affidavits, well, affidavit that we filed. That was back in November of 2008. And on that affidavit, we had the lineage of the Supreme Grand Sheiks of the Moorish Science Temple of America. In order for a charter to be legitimate and legal in the eyesight of Allah, it must have the proper signature of the signature of one of those sheiks, Supreme Grand Sheiks, that's on that affidavit. Okay? Now, in later years, we have authorized the Grand Sheiks and temples to sign nationality cards, but we've never authorized them to sign the charter. So it comes back to what I said. In order for a charter to be legal and legitimate, it must have the signature of one of those Supreme Grand Sheiks on that affidavit or the proper signature. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
Islam is correct.
Is that clear?
Who was the
Yes,
first
sir.
Supreme Grand Sheik?
Brother Emilio.
Islam.
Who was the second Supreme Grand Sheik?
Brother Morris Hill.
Brother Moorish.
W. Morris Hill.
Who was the third Supreme Grand Sheik?
Brother E. Walton Bay.
Okay. Who came after him?
Brother W. Harlan Bay.
And who came after him?
Brother O. Lewis Hill.
And who came after him?
Brother David Bailey Hill.
And who came after him?
He retired in 92.
Yeah.
Brother Braswell Bay.
No.
Hmm?
Brother P. Davis Hill.
Oh, sorry, yes. Brother P. Davis Hill.
Brother P. Davis Hill.
Try to trick
Then Braswell Bay, and then we removed him. Yeah. And that's another story. But what's your next? Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
What's your
Islam.
next question?
Okay. It said, what, if any, plans are there to unify or address the separation factions of the MSTA?
Eventually, Moore's going to have the wisdom and the insight to come home.
Islam.
Islam.
That's all it is. They got to know that they can't have it their way. They got to do it the proper way. And they're going to begin to come home. And it's going to begin by those of us who were together and lived in the same house back there in 1927 and 28, we're going to come together. In other words, those Moors who were, we call them Sea Kirkland Bay Moors. Right now they with Brother Jones Hill or Jones Bay. Is it Jones Hill?
Tell them about the 3 types of Moors, Supreme Grand Sheik.
Huh?
Tell them about the 3 types of Moors when the prophet
No.
passed.
And when the prophet changed form, that was only, and I'm talking, I can go to the date, July 27, 1929. Am I right?
Islam.
That's when we had the prophet shown. And there's only 3 types of Moors that actually looked at the prophet, looked at his body laying in that casket. It was the Moors that were going to stick with him, and they gravitated at that time to Brother Emilio. There was a group of Moors, they wanted to undo some of the laws and changes that the prophet had put in place, and they gravitated toward Brother C. Kirkland Bay, who was a new Adam, a new sheik. And then there was a third type of Moor. What they wanted was another prophet. And it was on August the 17th, 1929, we had a Moor came up the elevator, not the elevator, but the fire escape, and came in the window at Pythian Temple. And he said he was the prophet reincarnated, and that was Brother Johnny Gibbons Hill. He said he was the prophet reincarnated, and this is what some Moors wanted. They wanted another prophet. So initially we split into those 3 groups. Those are the first 3 that are going to have to come back together, and all the others will be lawfully and legally shut down.
Islam.
We're just going to shut them down, lawfully and legally. We got that document, and you got a copy of it, that we filed in November of 2008. And it was like an affidavit of reaffirmation, where we were reaffirming something. And we were reaffirming the fact, we're the ones that filed that affidavit. That's our affidavit that we filed. And it gives us complete control of the MSTA. Eventually, we're just going to have to shut temples down. The ones that don't come back home, it's going to start coming together.
Islam.
And here's the one thing the faithful have to keep in mind. The prophet could see and know what was going to occur in the future because he was a prophet. And there's something that he told us that we should always keep in mind and never forget. The prophet told us, the original temples, that the day was coming when we would not have enough secretaries to take in the new members.
Islam.
Yeah. And that's what they're going to have to be, new members. I doubt seriously if I'm going to let somebody run in here and they're going to have 100 adepts. No. They're going to be new members. Given a period of time in there or something, we'll probably give them their adept status back. But they're going to come in as new members, not new sheiks when they come. It's their fault for being out there, and they know they're out there. They know it, and they know who we are. They know that we are the original grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That affidavit proves it. Nobody else can file an affidavit like that.
Islam.
You know, I asked, his name gonna be out there now. I asked him for something one time. I asked him about, he's with what we call the Seacirk and Bay group. I asked him, did they have a convention program from 1930, 31, 32, and 33? I said, see if you can locate a convention program that's Seacirk and Bay for his convention that he had in 1930, 31, 32, and 33. And he couldn't find one, because there is none. Seacirk and Bay had no convention in those years. As a matter of fact, back there when I was 15 years old and I was learning what was going on and that there were different groups. I didn't know there was different groups of Muslims around. But I began to learn that it was, because they didn't talk about them.
Yeah.
Okay? But there was this group of Moors, they were down there in the area on North Sedgwick and North Orleans. So they got over there in that building on Augustine Horn before they had that building. And they were actually calling themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America of 1934. Yeah. They used to call themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America, because that's when they filed papers and they had a big meeting. I got the minutes from that big meeting. Have you ever seen it? Have you
I've
ever
heard
seen
about
those
it.
minutes?
Oh, no, sir.
You know,
They used to call themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America of 1934.
I got their convention minutes from 1934. And, Moors that was supposed to be with Brother Millio, they popped up at Seacoast and Base Convention.
Wow.
You know, Brother Millio was sick down in Mississippi. And when you think about it, in September of 1934, he was sick down in Mississippi. And the prophet's wife, Payneal, they all popped up at Seacirk and Base Convention in 1934. They had some good open discussions. This is in the minutes. But if you've ever read any convention minutes, you should read those. The Seacirk and Bay Convention minutes of 1934. Edward Hill got it in one of his books. In one of his books, he has those minutes. In one of his books. But did I answer the question that was asked?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did I give a good answer?
Yes, sir. Islam.
Okay. What's the next question?
Okay, it looks like we have 3 questions left. One, somebody asked, is there a connection to the Moors here, to the Moors or unconscious Moors in Canada, the Caribbean, South America, like my wife, for example,
Okay.
or people from Puerto Rico and Haiti?
No, not with this grand body. But I know those Moors in Canada. I've talked with them. And they've actually called me Supreme Grand Sheik. Yeah. And one day, they'll be with us. It's coming. But we have to remember this. The prophet told us this is the uniting of what? Asia. And eventually, all Asiatics must come aboard. All of them. And everybody, if you're not a European, there you are. That's a whole lot of people.
Yeah, that answered it.
That's a whole lot of wealth. You know, the Europeans really didn't know what they were doing when they made China what they are. They made China what they are. The Chinese weren't nothing. You know, figuratively speaking, they didn't have nothing. But they sent all these companies over there so they could have people working for 50 cents an hour. And the Chinese got rich. They're loaning money now to the United States. The United States actually borrowed money from China. And there's going to be some changes made in the future. Some big changes. And that's why we have to be careful about what we say and what we do and who we align ourselves with and who we talk about. Because sometimes if we talk about our brothers and sisters in a negative way, it kind of like makes it hard for us to get together. But if we show the principle of love, we love everybody. You know, we love mankind. And that includes the Roman nations. It does. We're to love mankind. But Moors all around the world will be with us one day. We just don't know what we're sitting on. But some of us that do, I know how to protect it. And can't nobody flip me. And they can't flip Dandridge Hill. That's why some of them left. They were better off going somewhere where they could go and be comfortable and do things the way they want to do it. You know, over in those other groups, they're not being pressured to do and obey the prophet like we do here. And one thing we're determined to do is on those monthly reports. Everybody has got to send one every month like the prophet said. We should be able to look at our monthly financial statements and chart of the future. Know what's going on. Manage effectively. And people know that here we know what we're doing, and they're going to be here. The Moors in Canada, and all these, the Moors in Central America, South America, Asia. Yeah, why not? One great big family. You got another question?
One last question. Is the Moorish Science Temple of America a government?
Okay. Let's talk about that. You have to get a handle on what the prophet gave us. If we are a government, or there's part of us that constitutes a government, we should be able to identify it. Okay? You have to go to the Divine Warning to the Nations. Came out, I guess, in November 1928, didn't it? And there's a group that the prophet speaks of in there, and it's called a pre-national government. Yeah. And the year I guess the month was May of 1916, the Prophet founded a group called the Moorish Divine and National Movement. And we can say this, the Moorish Temple of America really was founded in 1913 AD, except what we were calling ourselves the Canaanite Temple. But that's a religious corporation. The Prophet in July of 1928, he had a meeting and he organized us as a religious corporation. And our name became the Moorish Temple of America. But mindful of the fact that in 1916, he formed a group called the Moorish Divine and National Movement. And we are the Moorish Science Temple of America / Moorish Divine and National Movement. Who has on there ADAP sash? I have had mine in my pocket. More. Who was that sitting there?
Divine Bay.
Yo, Divine Bay?
Hold on, I got a sash.
Have you got, who got
Grill.
the sash
Grill.
on?
You got it.
Grill. Grill.
Give me your badge.
Come stand out front here where everybody can see you. Somebody with a sash on.
You got his badge.
Islam.
I got mine in my pocket here. I put it on there. Have nobody got theirs on there? Who got, somebody got theirs on?
Sister Grayel, up male.
I should have known Sister Grayel would be have her act together. That's what's always got it together.
Mael got it. Come over, Mael.
Okay, where's Mayo?
Right here.
I want him out here.
He's right here next
You
to
gotta
you.
be right here. Here.
Oh, he's right here. He always like getting on top of me. You right here?
Right here.
Now I want somebody to read what it says.
It says, ADAP of Moorish American, Divine and National Movement of North America.
Okay? So, the Moorish Divine and National Movement still exists.
There's one of them.
And the Moorish Divine and National Movement is our pre-national government. So, yes, we have a government. Okay?
Islam.
Yes. We have a religious aspect in that the Moorish Temple of America is a religious corporation. And the Moorish Divine and National Movement is our pre-national government. Am I right or wrong?
Praise Allah.
Islam.
Yes. So, we have a religious aspect which covers us in regards to the Constitution of the United States of America, because it protects religious organizations. That's why we have a document that our prophet said the Constitution of the United States of America is one of the greatest documents of all time. It is, because it enables us to function as a religious organization. But yet, the Moorish Divine and National Movement is our pre-national government. And when it comes to things that are done by government entities, the Moorish Divine and National Movement come into play. When it comes to things that are religious in nature, the Moorish Science Temple of America comes into play. I can look at you this way, or I can look this way.
Islam.
Whatever way you want to come, I got you covered.
Islam.
Because you can only come as a religion or as a government entity. Ain't nothing else.
Islam.
Private covered it all. But we got to be able to think to know how to use it. You know, you can have a person out in the wilderness and they can be living like wow. And you can go out there and give them a spoon and fork and they don't know what that is. But you give them time and they got it, they're going to pick out some use for it. They might, at first, break rocks with it, I don't know. But eventually they're going to learn to eat with it. Give them time. But there's so much that the prophet gave us that he told us. On one occasion he said, it'll be 50 years before you understand what I gave you. Am I right or wrong?
Islam, you're correct.
And I was around in the 1950s, and I can guarantee you, those Moors didn't really know a lot about what the prophet gave us. And they couldn't really explain a lot. And I was always asking questions that they couldn't answer. But now I want it to be different. We should have a handle enough on this to be able to answer that Moor's questions and that Moor's questions to satisfaction. And, you know, a lot of those old Moors, we would ask them questions and they would say, you know, you ask too many questions. I said, no, you just don't have the answers. And they get mad at me. I make them mad. They get mad at me, but I say, no, you just don't have the answers. It's not that I'm asking too many questions. You don't have an answer that I will accept. And one answer, I got them on. They were, when I was like 10 and 12 years old, they were telling me that ill was my free national name. Yeah, they did. They were saying that. And it wasn't until I was about 17, 18 years old was the first time they made known to me it was such a thing as a divine warning to the nations, because it was so much in there they didn't understand that they didn't want to talk about it or bring it out. But they had this big metal cabinet loaded with papers and things, and they never would let me get in there. But I started peeping. And eventually, I saw this paper called The Divine Warning to the Nations. And in the first paragraph, it spoke about a free national name. And it said there's only one. I said, whoa, whoa. I said, I think I got them this time. Because, you know, I would be out to get the old no more sometime. I'd be out to get them. And now I got something. They saying Il and Bay, which is two, is my free national name. But I got a paper written by the prophet saying there's only one free national name. Now who's right?
The prophet always right.
Prophet got to be right, and they got to be wrong. And they got mad when I told them they were wrong. Oh, sit down, shut up, you don't know it. I said, I'm just repeating what the prophet said. There's only one free national name. And it's what?
Moorish American.
Moorish American. Moorish American. I'm kind of long-winded, aren't I?
Nope.
No, you
Perfect.
good, you good.
Perfect.
Yes, you explained everything.
What kind of questions you got? Where are your questions at? Have you got some questions?
I got one more.
One more?
Uh-huh.
Okay. She got one more. She got one more question. What's the question?
Why is it important to pray and meditate?
Why is what?
Why is it important to pray and meditate?
Okay. Now, we have to remember, I was talking about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer and meditation is two different things. Okay? When we pray, we speak or we talk to Allah. And there are different types of prayers. Prayers of affirmation or reaffirmation. There's about 4 or 5 different kinds of prayers, you know. But when it comes to meditation, you can't move, you can't talk, you got to be still. And when you meditate, instead of you speaking to Allah, Allah speaks to you. And in a small, still voice, he speaks. And he who hears is still. You got to be still when you meditate. Am I right or wrong? He who hears is still. So, Moors pray, and we have a Moorish American prayer. And Moors meditate. In the Holy Quran, the MSTA, I believe it's in chapter 35, on page 43. It's about verse 22, maybe. It says, Allah has exalted thy mind with the powers of what? Meditation. Yeah. In many instances in the Holy Quran, it speaks about prayer, or praying. So we pray. I pray every day. And we meditate. I meditate every day. You know, I retired from the post office almost like 25, 26 years ago. And every day, by not having to go work for a living, I get a retirement check. I've been hitting them for 26 years. Yeah. But you'd be surprised how much money I done got when you add it up. I've gotten a lot of big money over the years, but I have time now to meditate. And every day I pray and I meditate. I do both of them every day. And each has its place. And sometimes I like to get everybody in the house together. And we say the Moorish American prayer. Come on, let's pray. Yeah. But when I meditate, I go in my room. Sometimes I leave the door open, sometimes I close it. When I meditate, I like being by myself. It's just me and Allah. And he unloads on me. Instead of my unloading on him, he unloads on you. And if you're wise enough and religious enough and clean enough, you gotta be clean. Allah doesn't like dirty. He never has. He tells us keep our body clean with water on the inside and outside. That's why we have to drink plenty of water every day. It's a healthy, normal thing to do. To drink, let's say 5 or 6, 7 glasses of water every day. Clean the inside, clean the outside. Don't be no dirty Moor. I don't like dirty Moors. You come to the temple, you're supposed to be what? Clean. You know, you don't come to the temple dirty. Inside and out, you gotta be clean. But we pray and we meditate. There's a difference. The difference is what? When we pray, we talk to Allah. And when we meditate, Allah talks to us. You got one more?
I'm done. You answered everything.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Definitely. I want to thank you for taking the time to speak to us, to teach us. If I can, I'd like to plug the temple. You're listening, if you don't know, you're listening to the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. There is no other. I hope you learned a lot. If you want to know more, go to mstofA.net. We'll put that on the screen at the bottom. Keith, Dan Dragel, what would we do if someone can't find a temple near them?
Go to the same site, mstofA.net, on the locator tab, and find the nearest temple near you. And if there's not a temple in your state, just reach out to the nearest temple, because in order to proclaim your nationality, you'll most likely need to travel there, or they need to come and meet you. But just find the nearest temple and reach out via email. All the different temple emails are in that locator tab. And if you don't get a response, email home office at mstofA.net, and that'll come to the Supreme Grand Council, and someone will get back to you.
Okay, so we'll put those links in there and on the screen. Okay, so if you have any questions, you heard that, just email. All right? And I just want to thank you for your time. We're going to close on that.
Islam?
Islam.
That means you gotta shut that record off.
Yes, sir. All right, Moors, I hope y'all appreciate that. Make sure you hit like and share. Help spread this information, get that out there. And everybody, make sure you get a copy of the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution, the Quran Questionnaire, and Moorish Literature. I would advise everyone to get this, whether you're going into the temple or not. It's also important to actually study so that you know what the temple is supposed to be doing. So get those items regardless. All right. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and close out. For the Moors watching this live on this Friday, feel free to join us on Zoom. I put the info in the chat. You can click that link and join us on Zoom. We're getting started in 10 minutes. So make sure you join us on that link, and we're going to go ahead and close things out. I appreciate you all. Also, go to the website, moorsinamerica.com. A ton of information on there. Anyone that wants to support the channel, Cash App, $, Moors in America. Real simple. Just Cash App, $ Moors in America. Everything that you send, anything that you send, any contributions will be appreciated. And then also, you can like and share this video for free. And on that note, we're closing out. You can join us on Zoom in a few minutes. Peace and love, Moors.